So as you have said, we are beginning with non-verbal communication. It's not a very wide area. So we can write the following. Non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is any communication. Non-verbal communication is any communication that does not require use of spoken word. That does not require use of spoken words. First of all, it therefore has the following characteristics. It therefore has the following characteristics. Therefore has the following characteristics. One, it is instinctive. Instinctive in nature. Instinctive in nature. That is, it indicates the attitudes. Indicates the attitudes and feelings. It indicates the attitudes and feelings. The attitudes and feelings of the speaker. The attitude and feelings of the speaker. Number two, it is less conscious. Less conscious and less deliberate. And less deliberate. And less deliberate. Another one is that it needs skills. Number three, it needs skills to be expressed. To be expressed and understood properly. To be expressed and understood properly. Number four is that it highly complements verbal. Highly complements verbal communication. It highly complements verbal communication. Number five. Number five, it forms the larger parts. Forms the larger parts. Forms the larger parts of the entire communication activity. The larger parts of the entire communication activity. Communication activity. So that is what we are calling nonverbal communication. And we are saying it is a communication that does not require use of words. There is no use of words. So it is the expression of gestures. It is the body language. It's the body signs, the movements of the body, the facial expressions, and so on. And we are therefore saying this kind of communication, it has these 5 main characters. One, it is instinctive. It reflects the instincts. Instincts are the inner feelings. They are the attitudes. They are the emotions. They are the moods that you have. So when you are talking to a person, or when someone is talking to you, or they are doing something, or they're even not talking to you, whichever, there are emotions that are generated. So those emotions, we express them, and we can be able to show the attitude, we can be able to show the feelings. Actually, when you're talking to a person, can you be able to tell whether the person is interested in what you're saying? Yes, you can be able to see, or they are not interested. They are able to express, and you are able to tell even when they have not spoken. Actually, some of them would be telling you, I'm listening. But you can clearly see from their faces, from other body parts, that they are not interested in what you are saying. The other thing is that it is something that is less conscious. The use of these body languages, the movement of body parts, it is not something that you are aware of. It is not something that you are deliberate. You see, like now, the way I'm moving my hand this way, it's not that I've thought about it, that I must move the hand that way. It is something that is very, very less conscious. Actually, some people who are violent, when they give you a slap, they will tell you, I did not know how it happened. I had not intended to slap you. It's just my hand that moved faster than my thought. And before I thought about it, the slap was already on you. Yeah. Because the body movements at times, they can be less conscious and less deliberate. The other thing is that you require a lot of skills to be able to express it, and also to be able to understand it. You could be in a group like now, you people, the way you are in this class, and 2 people are communicating while the others are looking at them. Now, wherever what they are saying, or what you think they are saying something what? Different. So that tells you, for you to perfectly interpret it, you require what we call a lot of skills. You have seen these people who interpret the sign languages. When you look at them in the TV screens, the way they do it, it requires a lot of skills. It's not something that you can easily interpret. The other thing is that it highly complements verbal communication. So when you're using your body movements, facial expression, and such others, you complement the verbal. And the other one is that it forms the highest part. It forms the highest part of any communication activity. So that is the introduction to nonverbal communication. Let's look at benefits or importances of nonverbal communication. Some benefits or importances of nonverbal communications. Nonverbal communications. One, it is used to repeat. It is used to repeat the verbal message. It is used to repeat the verbal message. Number 2, it gives access. Gives access or assent. Accent or assent to a verbal message. A verbal message. E.g., tonal variation. Tonal variation. Tonal variation. Another one is that it can be used to complement or contradict Can be used to complement or contradict. Meant or contradict verbal message. Number 4 is that it regulates interactions. It regulates interactions. It regulates interactions without speaking by everyone. Without everyone speaking. Without everyone speaking. Without everyone speaking. Another one is that it can effectively substitute. It can effectively substitute the verbal message. And effectively substitute the verbal message. Next is, it is best to convey messages relating to, now we are now in number 6. Best to convey messages relating to visual mediums. Relating to visual mediums. Such as geography, graphs, etc. Another one is that it is best where immediate response. It is best where immediate response. It is best where immediate response is required, e.g. in traffic. E.g. in traffic. Another one is that every human being responds quickly. Every human being responds quickly. Responds quickly to colors, pictures, sounds than words. Number 9 is that best method to convey a message to illiterate audience is best method to convey a message to illiterate audience. So this nonverbal, you can use it to repeat what you have said by words. And you know, we said sometimes back that repetition is very key in any communication because it helps us to retain, to understand the message. The other thing is that it gives what we call accent to verbal messages. For example, when you change the tone, actually, if you listen to my speaking, you realize there are times my voice is low, there are times it is high. Now, those tonal variations, they are also part of non-verbal. Like when I shout, maybe I'm trying to get your attention. When I slow down, maybe I'm allowing you to get more time to process what I'm saying. So those tonal variations, as in I have done it, I have shouted, but I've not told you what I'm doing. But you are able to get what I'm saying. The other thing is that you can quickly use it to agree with what is being said or to disagree with what is being said. The other one is that it enhances interactions. When people are in a communication arena, we are able to communicate to each other through non-verbals without everyone having to speak. You don't have to open your mouth to tell me something. You can just use your eyes, you can use your face, you can use your heart, and I'll be able to know what is it that you are saying. Actually, in psychology, we look at the movements of the body so much. The movements of the body. Like when you are talking to a person and they're like this, you need to check, could they be hiding something? This could be a reflection of hiding something. Or someone ameweka mikono hivi, or there are some parts of the body that are keeping on moving, or the person is scratching. Those, we call them the energy spots. So the person is really speaking to you, but they are not using their mouth. The other thing is you can perfectly use it to substitute the verbals. I've said people can communicate. You see in this class, people can communicate. For example, waambiane watoke nje na wapatane hapa chini. And they don't use any words. They just use their eyes, their face, or whatever, and both of them move out and they go and meet down there. While the rest of us here, we are not aware of what has been said. The other thing is that the non-verbals are good when you are using the visual mediums like in geography, in graphs, in diagrams, and so on. They also are good when you require immediate response. Like in traffic, gari imekuja, ama mtu anavuka barabara without having looked at the road, whether they are vehicles and you are driving that car. You require to immediately respond. Or you are the one who is crossing the road. You have seen anything moving, either a vehicle, a bicycle, or whatever. You need to respond immediately. The other thing is that people quickly respond to the non-verbals than they respond to words. When we see colors, when we see the pictures, when we see the words, we respond quickly. Now, this sound, it may be like now the words that I'm pronouncing, they're also part of the sound. But when we bring them here under the non-verbals, we are talking of those sounds or those words which do not have a meaning. For example, creaky. When someone creaks, they have not said any word that has a meaning, but you interpret that most likely they are not happy with what you are saying. So it's a sound. The other one is that you can use it very well with people who are not educated, illiterate persons. So let's look at one or two questions in our past papers. Look at pilot paper of December 2021, question 3A. Pilot paper. December. Question 3A. This is on page 5. Yeah? Page 5, your paper is like mine. So part A is saying, highlight 8 benefits of using nonverbal cues. So the benefits of nonverbal cues, 8. So we have given 9. Can repeat, accent, complement, interaction, substitute, best visuals, immediate response, quick, and illiterate. So any 8 of those would be sufficient. August 2021, question 5C. August 2021, question 5C. August 2021, Question 5C. Inasema, using relevant examples, examine 4 benefits of nonverbal communication in an organization. So we already have given 9, so you can be able to cite 5 of those ones. All right, let's now look at forms of nonverbal communications. Forms of nonverbal communication. So, forms of nonverbal communication. Number 1, facial expressions. Facial expressions. Which facial expressions do you know of? There's a way I can express my face. What would you call it? Let me ask that. Like now what you're doing, that's called what? Laughing or smiling. Smile, e.g. smile. That's a facial expression. And the opposite of that? Frown. So when someone smiles, what do you judge from that? They are happy, they're in agreement with what you're saying. Eh? What about when they frown? They are unhappy, they are in a disagreement of what you are saying. Good. Number 2, they are called gestures. I don't know whether it's gestures or gestures. What is it? Yes. Gestures. Gestures. So see gestures. Okay. And explain that these are deliberate body movements. These are deliberate body movements and signals. Deliberate body movements and signals such as waving, and pointing, etc. So someone can wave. How many meanings can you get if I do like this? 1, I could be saying goodbye. I could be greetings. I could be saying no. Good. Could be saying no. Yeah, that's what we are calling the interpretation. When I point, I could be giving you a warning. I could also be giving you directions. Good. Yeah, good. Thank you. The next one is appearance. 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 I realize that this has to do with choice of color. This has to do with choice of color, clothing, hairstyles, etc. Yeah, when someone chooses a particular color, we have meanings, eh? Yeah, we have meanings. Like today is Valentine. How come some Java? Yes. Kevo is in the spirit of Valentine. Eh? The rest, but you know, for you and me, we are villagers. Eh? Collins, you also said you are a villager, or you are born town. Villager. Kevin and Bridget and Tekra, how do you born town? They appreciate. For us, hiyo mambo tumekuja kuisikilia hapa mjini. And flowers do not make a lot of sense to us. Because every day where we grew up, ukiamka tu maua yalikuwa kila mahali kwa pens wapi. Yeah. Tekra wanasema nini? They make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So for some of us, it depends on the background. It depends on the background. So for us, it's not hiyo maua tumeonea huku. Kitu kingine tumeona hapa ni pizza eh. Sisi tunajua mandazi, si ndio? Tunajua mandazi, the villagers know mandazi na samosa. To a town, they know pizzas. So the appearance, the color that you have chosen, the clothing, venye umevaa. Do you think your dressing communicates anything? Venye umevaa? Yes, it communicates a lot. Actually, it even gives you vibe. It even gives you vibe. How you are dressed. Actually, they say you are addressed according to how you are dressed. Venye umevaa, inatuonyesha the value that we attach to you. And it shows us how now we should engage you, or for why, for what purpose. It's very, very important. Hairstyles, do you think they communicate anything? Huh? Hairstyles, especially when they go to the extreme. Hapa zote to convene the norm. We have not gone to the extremes. The extreme is more of the dreadlocks. Eh? When you see someone in dreadlocks, what comes to your mind? A Rastafarian? Are they good people?
Yes.
Immediately, most of us, when we see the dreadlocks, we tend to think, most of us, I'm not saying all of us, most of us, when you see someone in dreadlocks, naona hii could be a wrong number. Moto apotea bang. I'm a bang, yeah? Bang. Yeah. But when you interact with some of these people, they are what we were calling the stereotype the other day. You interact with them and you realize, although kuna a group that they are banned and watu wa banki who have dreadlocks, we also have another group there, which is very good. They are honest, they are very sincere, they are harmless, they don't take any drugs. It's only that for whatever reasons, they have what? Dreadlocks. Yeah. Even sometimes back in colleges, we never used to allow students who have dreadlocks. But nowadays, there's no much of a problem. Although the farthest you survive with it is until you graduate. After you graduate, you have to shape up. Unless you don't want to go looking for a job. So the hairstyles, even when that's for men, even for ladies. You know, for ladies, it is very easy to change. It's a high hairstyle. Sikuna venye hata saa hii kesho unaweza kuja na dreadlocks. Yeah. You go to the salon, kuna venye inatengenezwa. So for ladies, it's so easy. You just dress or you just dress your hair depending on where you are going. So kama uko tu mtaani na unataka ma dreadlocks, unaenda salon inatengenezwa inakaa hivyo. Kama umeitwa interview kesho and hautaki uende na dreadlocks, then you just go to the salon and it is. But for men, it will be a bit different. But even for ladies, when you see a lady who has dreadlocks, Kevin, what do you think? Unamuona aje? Yeah, okay. You have no issue with that, eh? Collins? Hakuna shida. Samuel, unaona aje? Does it tell you something that is not being spoken? Eh? Ndio kesho nasema sana. To some extent, some of these hairstyles, they reflect some behaviors, some inner behaviors. Like I remember when I was in high school, I used to be not very good. And one of the things we used to do is to put on 3/4 trousers. And never having shoes that have laces. Zile ziko na laces lakini umetupa hizo laces. Kiatu inakaa hivi. So hujaongea na mtu lakini venye umekuja umevaa hivyo. Does it show someone who is very good? You would quarrel with parents, umebaiwa trouser iko sawa. But unahakikisha weekend unapeleka kwa tailor, unafanya nini? Inakatwa. Kiatu unatupa hizo kamba. Now you go to the school like that, even without socks. Because you are in day school. So now when you look at that student, you should be ready for anything. Yeah. So those things, they tell a lot. Appearance. Artifacts. 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 And write that these are objects. These are objects or images or uniforms. Objects or images or uniforms. Kama sahi hawa watu wa maandamano, they put the red berets. Au kakofia, so you know that au kakofia. When you see that kakofia, is it telling you something? Yes. Number 5 is eye contact. Eye contact. And maybe for the artifacts, if I go back to the artifacts, there are some things you can come to my house na upate hata zile picha nimeweka kwa nyumba yangu. Can they communicate to you what kind of a person I am? Yes. Or even something I've placed on my desk. What about these necklaces that umeweka? Are they communicating anything? Other than beauty. Like is it communicating anything other than beauty? Does it tell me you are Catholic? Yes. Yeah. So you don't have to tell me. As long as I know those signs, nikiona tu venye inakaa, I can be able to interpret. That one is not just beauty. It is also communicating your religious inclination. So they are artifacts. Eye contact. And write that these are eye movements and directions. These are eye movements and directions. Eye movements and directions used to show interest in the communication. Used to show interest in the communication. Yeah, again, we know how we use our eyes. Eyes tell a lot. You don't have to open your mouth. The way unaangalia mtu, it communicates, shows whether you have interest or you don't have interest. Some of us can remember how our mothers used to communicate to us, especially in the presence of some visitors. Did it happen to you, Bridget? Yeah. The mother did not have to speak. Unaangaliwa tu hivyo and you get the full message. And you get it for the present and for the future. As in present, unajua unaambiwa toka hapa. Na hiyo macho venye unaiona unajua future, in the near future, in the next few hours, unaweza kuwa na vita. Yeah. So, those are eye contacts. Number 6, we have proxemics. 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 This is expression for need for. This is expression for need for personal space. Need for personal space. First of all, it is influenced by such factors as culture. It is influenced by such factors as culture, religion, personality, status, familiarity, etc. So the proxemics comes from the word proximity. Proximity has to do with how close you are. And how close you get to other persons is influenced by very many things. One, we have talked of culture. There are some cultures that do not allow the young to interact with the old, or the women to interact with men. Even when it comes to greetings, there are some cultures where you cannot shake hands of some other category of persons in that culture. When it comes to religion, again, religion, there are some sects we have here in Kenya that prevents some of us from shaking hands with some other persons. They also, I don't know whether those things are still there, but kitambo, I used to see in the village churches, where kuna saidi ya wamama na saidi ya wazee. Are they still there? Anyone who has seen such a church today? Squeeze hakuna. Yeah, but sometimes back it used to be so. Kuna saidi ya wamama na kuna saidi ya wazee. But nowadays there has been a lot of campaign to integrate unity, such that if you are married, you should sit next to your spouse and next to your children. Yeah. So sasa unapata kuna hiyo mchanganyiko. The other issue is about the personality. Kuna watu tu by their nature hawatakangi kukaa na watu wengine. By their nature, they just want to be alone. Status. The status of a person. You see, like now, when the president is somewhere, chances are very high he will be a little bit far away from the crowd, the status. Even like now, between me and you, if we were to sit down, chances are, maybe nikikuja kukaa hapa, Sam will not be very comfortable. Bridget will not be very comfortable. But you are so comfortable if Wagesh is sitting next to you. So it has to do with the status. It has also to do with what? Familiarity. How familiar are you with these persons? I think the only person who broke that rule in this class is Bridget. How did you happen to sit next to her? Ulikuja na waka karibu na yeye. You know, Kevin and Collins, they obeyed this rule. When you're not familiar, unakaa kando. So when you came as new, kwanza unakaa na huko nyuma, unawaobserve hao wenye wamekuwa huko wako namna gani. Then after some time, unajua kama ni watu wa kuongea na wao ama si watu wa kuongea. Yes. So for you, you did not fear. Or you fear this other side, Duka. You're more safe that side. That's what happens. When you're not familiar, you do not want to sit next to a person. But it's not bad. Proximity is not very bad, although there are some people who take it to a level that is a bit of a nuisance. Sijui kama mwahi kaa na mtu kwa matatu, hataki hata mabega ziguzane. Mpaka unashangaa, sasa anataka tukae aje. The person is very uncomfortable. Very. Kwa next day anatuangalia vibaya ama anakusukuma pia kaa kando. Na hataki kulipia viti mbili. The other one is silence. Silence. And we write that this requires a good deal of self-control. This requires a good deal of self-control and self-confidence. First, still on the same point, we write short silences. Short silences give emphasis to words. Give emphasis to words. As in when you are speaking, you say something and then you first of all keep quiet. You give your audience an opportunity to digest. So it emphasizes, shows the emphasis. You want that one to sink. You don't want to introduce another word lest they forget what you have already said. You want to give it time to sink. And for you to use silence, it requires a lot of self-control, especially when you are being provoked to the positive or to the negative. You must have a very high level of what? Control. That mtu anakutukana na unyamaza tu. Umwangalia tu. And you must have a lot of confidence in yourself. Because huyu mtu anatukanana, chances are after that si atarusha mangumi. But ukionekana you are just quiet, it shows you are able to control yourself and you are also confident in case of graduate to the next level, you are ready to deal with the person. Yeah. So this silence requires a lot of control and a lot of self-confidence. Or when someone is doing some funny things to you to provoke on the positive. Na uko tu hapo. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. Are you getting what I'm saying? Mtu anakuguza tu. Let me use that word. And you are there too. You are not talking. You are so composed. It shows that you have high control of yourself and you have confidence. Unajua hata akiniguza wapi, nothing can happen. I'm unmoved. Good. Let's look at December 2021 pilot paper. Pilot of December 2021. It's 24B. You see? It's 24B. Oh, it's different, So inasema identify 5 nonverbal signs or signals that could indicate positive communication. Indicates positive communication. So which ones can you pick? First of all, if you start with the proxemics, if someone is coming closer to you, does that indicate that there is positive communication? You know, proxemics, it is either I am closing the gap or I'm widening the gap. So if I'm talking to you and you are coming near me, does that show that you are interested in what I'm saying? Either for good or for worse. Either for good or for worse. If it is good, kama ni maneno mzuri na kuambia utanikaribia ndio usikie vizuri. It shows interest. Kama ni maneno mabaya, bado utanikaribia ndio uisikie vizuri, then you react. So the issue is interest. We are not looking at which type of interest, positive or negative, but interest. So the question is asking us now the positive. So if someone is approaching you, it could be a sign that they are positive. Eye contact, if someone is looking at you straight on the eye, that is also a sign of positive. The artifact may be a bit difficult, but there are some objects that you can bring that could signify a positive communication. Actually, when you talk about artifacts, we can also talk about the presence. Kama sahi mtu akakuletea maua today na aende. Have they spoken? Positive or negative? Positive. Siku hizi kwa nini hiyo mambo imepungua? Some years back, we used to receive a lot of flowers in classes when I'm teaching in ya fulani. Why is the practice changing?
Silver is dead.
Yeah, and nini?
Silver is dead.
Silver.
Shiver.
Chivalry.
Dead.
What is chivalry? Chivalry.
Gentleman.
Oh. Chivalry is being a gentleman, eh? So that aspect of being gentleman is normal, is dead.
Dead.
Sam, what do you say?
And I've come to know themselves.
Then I've come to know the truth. Okay, every side has its own explanation. Where's buy mtu maua?
Send and then the two months in the time.
Oh, you are not the only one who has it.
No.
And it happens that yako ndio cheapest. Wewe unatuma ile laki moja ya 200 unapata ile Peleta plastic, peleta nacho, bunch, mpaka inamwaga maji, and some bees around it, Okay. Appearance, penye mtu appear, is it positive? Yeah. Depending on the occasion, Yeah, depending on the occasion, the way you appear. Gestures, again, even the facial expressions, Yeah. The next one? Upright.
Listening to someone and you're concentrating. Is that what you say when someone sits at a right and upright position and listens to you, gives you communication?
Yeah, we call it active listening. Now that one could be a gesture, the body movement. Yeah. When someone is upright, they hata wengine hata wanainua kichwa. Naona wana follow kabisa. It's positive. Yeah. Okay. The other one is December 2021, question 3B. On the same page with 6 hapo. Inasema summarize 6 types of non-verbal communication. 6 types of non-verbal communication. I think we have given. The other one is May 2016, question 7B. May 2016. 7B. May 2016. Question 7B. Yeah, the elements. The elements are also the types or their forms. The elements are also the forms. Okay, let's now look at effective use of nonverbal communication. Effective use of nonverbal communication. Effective use. Nonverbal communication. One, persuasion of audience, persuasion. Persuasion of audience. Number two, day-to-day life. Day-to-day life. Number three, creating a good relationship that is founded on the nature of a man. Creating a good relationship. Good relationship that is founded on the nature of a person. Let me use that one. So that Bridget and Tekra will not accuse me. So creating a good relationship that is founded on the nature of a person. Number four is areas where verbal communication is not suitable. Areas where where verbal communication is not suitable or possible. Areas where verbal communication is not suitable or possible. Another one is emergencies. Emergencies and other areas where speed in response is important. And other areas where speed in response is very important. Speed in response is very important. Another one is assessing completeness of a candidate in an interview. Completeness. Assessing completeness of a candidate in an interview. Another one is performance evaluation of employees. Performance evaluation of employees. Where non-verbal factors are considered. Where non-verbal factors are considered. So those are areas where you can apply non-verbals effectively. I don't know whether the heading brought it out in such a way, but we are saying these are areas where you can effectively use non-verbal. If you want to persuade a person, persuasion can be done better using body language than using the words. Because body language, it is instinctive. It connects the emotions, it connects the feelings, the attitudes. Then you can also, or it's used on a day-to-day basis. We also use it in creating relationships that are founded on the nature. Remember we said body language is less conscious. So the probability that you said the wrong signal, you are smiling when actually you are not happy about what is happening, the probability that you'll perfect it is very low. Sijui kama unaona mtu anacheka mahali hastahili kuwa anacheka. You can easily tell hii kicheko is not what? Genuine. Yeah. You cannot be able to fake. But words, can people fake words perfectly that you cannot even tell? Yes, they will tell you very sweet words which you cannot even suspect. But when it comes to facial expressions, utaona huyu ni kujifanya anacheka lakini hajafurahia hiyo maneno. Emergencies, interviews to assess the completeness. When we are talking about assessing the completeness of the candidate, we want to see how complete you are. How are your emotions? How are your moods? How are your feelings? Yeah, we want to see all that because a person is interacted with in wholesomeness. There are times, even when you're in this class, there are times that emotions will require to come to play. There are times when moods, feelings, words, actions, all those are interactions that are there in a day-to-day basis. Okay, let's look at barriers to effective non-verbal communication. Barriers. What are some of the barriers? Some of the barriers that we have. One, it is not considered as a main communication form. It's not considered as a main communication form. Number two, it is not taught in schools and elsewhere. It is not taught in schools and elsewhere. Elsewhere. Hence, it is open to different expressions. Hence, it is open to different expressions and interpretations. It's open to different expressions and interpretations. Number three, not compulsory. It's not compulsory. Another one is limited liability, hence open to misuse. Limited liability, hence open to misuse. Another one is that it may be incomplete. It may be incomplete. May be incomplete. Hence, still require verbal. Hence, still require verbal for clarification and explanation. Verbal for clarification and explanation. Another one is lack of feedback. Lack of feedback. Another one is psychological and social barriers. Psychological and social barriers such as Roman 1, attitudes and opinions. Attitudes and opinions. Emotions. Emotions. closed mind, status consciousness, status consciousness. So those are some of the barriers you find with the nonverbal. We are saying, number one, it is not recognized as a form of communication. So it still comes below the others. The other one is that we do not have a situation where it is well taught, either at home or even at school or elsewhere. These are the languages are taught, so we don't easily misinterpret. But the sign language, no one actually tells you that kufanyia mtu hivi ni baya. So wewe unapata tu and you interpret it. The other thing is, rather because of that, people interpret them wrongly. Even things such as hug. If I were to hug you, especially when it's about the opposite gender, what comes to your mind? There is love. Sidio? Yeah. Tekra, if I hug you, what does that tell you? Is it normal? Bridget, is it normal? So what does it tell you? I thought you belong to town. Hugging is normal. Family, not like now here, Bridget, if Sam was to hug you, that would be abnormal. Kevin, you take a hug you, is that abnormal? You're coming from a different orientation. Here in town, I find people hug. For some of us who are in the village, or from the village, we still have a problem. I see even in church, people hugging. But since villagers, jaribu kuweka gap, lakini wengine bado wanakuja wana break your gap. Because for us, there is what it means. Watu wa huku wenye wako na hiyo exposure, there is what again it means to them. Yeah. So you can misinterpret. When you come section 2, I'll be teaching you something we call the type 2 error. It's where you get the wrong message and you start responding appropriately, only to be told that it was not so. Like maybe a girl has come and hugged you, Collins. So nafikiria kuna kitu. Sasa now that leo ni Valentine, unaenda unajipanga, unatuma maua. Ingine unajipanga, unakuja na chocolate. Then siku ingine unamwambia you can take a soda down here. Now as we talk, unaambiwa hey, it can't work. It's not like that. When I hugged you like I hug any other. It's called type 2 error. At times it can be very disappointing. And it also happens even on the opposite. Tuseme maybe kwa hii class mtu anakujanga kawaida mnasalimiana, lakini leo amekuja haja kuongelesha na amekaa tu pale. So nayo naanza kusema, haja niongelesha na mimi ataniona. Ngoja. Only later on kugundua huyo mtu hata alikuwa na mashida mingi, kuna vitu zilikuwa zinamsumbua. So hata kama huko umemwambia umekasirika na yeye, as a normal human being you feel bad because you have started to plan something bad. So it happens. So those are results of misinterpretation. It is not compulsory. It has limited liability. You cannot account. Like venye nimesema nikikufanyia hivi. Can you take me anywhere? But is it good? No, you cannot sue me. But if I use the word nikutukane, that word you can use it to sue me. The other thing is that it is still incomplete. I can do something and bado huelewi. So I still need some words. Na watu nawafanyia kitu hawaelewi, hawashiki. Umembaia chocolate haelewi, umembaia nini haelewi, umemtumia M-Pesa haelewi, umetupa ka message ya hi haelewi. Umemwambia akuje mkutane, anakwambia I'm not available, tena unatuma unaambiwa I'm not available, na huelewi what you are being. Do those things happen? Yeah, until now inabidi wabiwe kwa maneno. Mimi nakwambia haiwezekani, ama mimi nasema hivi. Yeah. Psychological barriers and social barriers, issues to do with attitudes, the opinions, the emotions that we have, they affect us. The closed mind, and watu wenye akili imefungika kabisa, they can't entertain a new idea. The status consciousness, wale wanajisikia wao ni status fulani, they can't go talk to some other fellows. Wewe hakuna kitu unamwambia. I used to work with a guy who used to tell us that if you never went to Alliance, you never went to a high school. And therefore, he cannot discuss anything with you. And then you say again, if you never went to University of Nairobi, you never went to that one. You also belong there. You never went to a university. So technically, you belong to that club. You have to be a day. You also went to university.
No, I've been told that.
Oh, you have been told. Oh, okay. I thought you belong to that class. Yeah, they are guys on the face and they don't shy. Did you go to University of Nairobi? No. Enda ukatafute nika yako ya academic dwarfs. You can discuss with them. They say they. See, when I say they singular, right? The university. So that means there is no other university. So if you do not go to University of Nairobi, then when you tulienda KU kama mimi na wengine elsewhere, those are not universities. You can tell us what they are called. The university is University of. So those are status consciousness. Na kuna watu hawapiti, they can't. They can't discuss with you. Okay. Haya. Pilot paper of December 2021. Kama hiyo karatasi ilikuwa na Question 4C, December 2021, question 4C. The other day, someone was telling me he had realized in church. There is like a group. They are vehicle owners. So if you don't drive to the church compound, and you get two guys who drive, when they are talking, ukifika hapo, they change the conversation. Now maybe si mambo ya magari, maybe they were talking of something very general. But because we umekuja na hukujangi na gari, you belong to a different what? Class. Status consciousness. So, have you seen the question? Pilot, question 4C. Or discuss 5 psychological barriers. If you have mentioned 4 or 5, you can break even attitudes and opinions. You can deal with them. May 2021, question 6C. May 2021, question 6C. Yeah, 4 psychological barriers. I think that is good. Right, let's move on and now look at something called writing skills. Writing skills. writing skills, and we write that written communication is where the sender writes. The sender writes the message using words. The message using words, and then sends to the receiver. Then sends to the receiver. First of all, messages are usually written for purposes such as one, future references. Number two, avoiding mistakes. Three, legal requirements. Number four is wide access. Number five is effective decision making. And another one is bridging distance. Or reducing distance. So that is about the written communication, which we are also calling the writing skills. So we are saying we write for those reasons. One of them is future reference, exactly why you are doing, why you are writing notes in this class, for future reference. Yeah, I think that's okay. The next bit that we need to discuss is called sentence construction and paragraph development. Sentence construction and paragraph development. Paragraph development. And we write this. A sentence is a set of words. A sentence is a set of words. Is a set of words which make up a complete thought. A sentence is a set of words which make up a complete thought. First of all, it contains a subject and a verb. Contains a subject and a verb. So, effective sentences should have the following characteristics. Effective sentences should have the following characteristics. One, unity. That is, ideas hanging together. Hanging in quotes. Ideas hanging together. Should be that unity. So what is contained in that? Number 2 is coherence. Coherence. Coherence, that is various parts sticking together. Various parts sticking together. Various parts, as in we are throwing. Number 3 is variety. That is creativity. The way you are using your words, you are avoiding monotony. Creativity. Economy. In terms of words. Again, that means don't give us everlasting sentences. Try to be brief. Number 1 is proper selection. Where are you putting it? The choice of words. You must do it so well. And you must ensure there is simplicity. Simplicity. Okay, then another sentence on its own to Adike. An effective paragraph. An effective paragraph should have the following characters. Should have the following characters. Have the following characters. So number 1 is unity. Number 2 is coherence. That's like we are saying with sentences. Number 3 is adequate development. Adequate development. That is build up the paragraph. Not 1 sentence or 2 sentences you tell us a paragraph. There should be adequate development. Again, that does not give you permission to give very many sentences. It's 1, we need to break, but something reasonable. And then we must have what we call the topic sentence. Or sentences. So that is a sentence that summarizes almost everything that is there in the paragraph. So the other sentences that are coming in, they are coming to shed more light on that. I think there is a question of April. Kama siku capture vizuri. Look ni April, 2021, 2022, question 7A. Angalia kama kuna swali kama hilo. 2022, 7A. Vipi? Inasema nini? Okay. April 2022. So there should be unity, there should be coherence, there should be adequate development, there should be topic sentences. Advantages of written communication. Advantages of written communication. So these ones are just like repetition of what we have said earlier, but that's still right. 1, used in passing detailed information. Used in passing detailed communication, detailed information. Used in passing detailed information, such as a report or a book. Report or a book. Number 2, it can be used for future reference. It can be used for future reference. Another one, it is less costly over a short distance. It is less costly over a short distance. Another one is that it is more accurate. It's more accurate since it can be revealed and rectified before sending. It can be revealed and rectified before sending. Another one is best for confidential information. Best for confidential information. Another one is message cannot be easily distorted. Message cannot be easily distorted. Cannot be easily distorted. And another one is that it can reach a large number of people. Can reach a large number of people, e.g. a notice. E.g. a notice. Yeah, so those are some of the advantages, and I think the one that is striking out is the issue of accuracy. When you write something before you release, you can read the letter. When you find there is a mistake or it's not really communicating what you initially thought, you can always do what? Rectify. But maneno ya mdomo ikishatoka imetoka. Even when you apologize, even when you apologize, the damage is already done. Even when you apologize. And even the apology could mean the same. I remember there is a time, I think I told you, Babu Owino said that 50% of members of parliament are idiots. So he was told to apologize. So he said, I apologize that 50% of members of parliament are not idiots. I had said 50% are idiots. So 50% are not. See, it is the same thing. So, but now with written communication, you can be able to adjust that. Disadvantages? Disadvantages of written communication. One, no immediate feedback or response is given. No immediate feedback or response is given. No immediate feedback or response is given. Number two, has a limited number of target group or audience. Has a limited number of target group or audience. Audience. Number three, it can be easily misinterpreted. It can easily be misinterpreted. Number four, it is not easy to persuade the recipient. It is not easy to persuade the recipient. Number 5, it is expensive over long distance. Is expensive over long distance. Another one is, it is subject to grammatical errors. Subject to grammatical errors. Grammatical errors. So that is a set of the disadvantages that you can find. There is no immediate feedback. And that can be a bother, especially nowadays when we are used to communication mediums that are generating feedback there and there. Irrespective of even the distance, you could be talking to someone who is in the US via email and they respond instantly. You can call, you can talk. But those days when we used to have PO Box, it used to be very difficult. Actually, boyfriends and girlfriends would send letters to each other. And you receive them after one term. So umetuma January, sasa yeye ataipata akifunga shule April. Na yeye aliprai. Wakifungua May, na yeye ipate August. So those PO Box things can delay things so much. There is also a limited number of audience. Very few people are able to write. Very few people are able to read. And not only even reading, they don't like, I normally see even in Facebook, when someone has written something wrong, they put it this way. Have you ever seen this? Before the beginning of a communication. Why it's put that way is to prepare you psychologically, because we know that most of us do not like reading the long what? Stories. We want to kumaliza tusome. And most so Africans. That's why they say if you want to hide something to an African, you hide it where? In a book. The African will really read. Other than the set book in Form 4, which other novel have you read? Reject, other than the set books. You read. Currently, are you reading any title? Which one? The C silent. Good. Congratulations. That's great. Take up. Kevin. Yes, you see. Only one out of the 5. Eugene, you read novels?
No.
So you only read sasa kama hizo accounting. Life is not just about debit and credit. Life is not just about law or communication. There is a lot that you need to read. There is a lot. There is a lot. Reading is very, very important. It sharpens the way you see things, the way you interact with people. Yeah. So don't just be very academic. Then we're also saying it is very difficult to persuade a person. Ukiniandikia barua and you want to convince me or to persuade me, it is very difficult. But when you are here physically, it is easy. Actually, anytime you want to persuade anyone for whatever reason, try to make a physical appearance. I told you the way God created us. Immediately you see another human being, emotions start to exchange. Emotions of either like or dislike. So if you are persuading someone for good, you go and hope that the emotions that you exchange will be emotions of what? Like. And when the emotions are excited, we make different decisions. And I think I told you the other day when we were talking about persuasion. That's why when we are proposing, like if you want to propose to a girl, you don't wait for her in these corridors, in this easy and then you want to make a proposal. It can't work. You look for a place where she'll be excited and the proposal, chances are it can work. Okay, so there is this question of April 2022, question 4B. I hope I captured it well. Yeah, question 4B is saying, explain 5 disadvantages of written communication. So I think that is good enough. So we stop there for today. We shall pick up from there in our next lesson. Thank you.